What's going on, guys? What's cracking? What's popping out in the garage? Drinking a beer, and this time it's a blue moon. There was a thing on Facebook today. It was MK4 owners group or whatever, and they were talking about another YouTuber or whatever, but that's beside the point. And I posted up, I hope you guys don't hate me as much as you hate this guy. And they just kept ragging on me about Keystone. It almost offended me. I almost needed a safe space. Anyways, so yeah, drinking a blue moon. And it's actually quite delicious right now, as I'm putting new headlights in this car for the umpteenth time. Oxbeam, again, had new lights that came out, so they're sending me new ones. Put the new ones over there, you can see they're gold color. I've got the red ones in here. Already testing out, I took the battery, so I can't kick it on right now. These are 9,000 lumens versus 6,000 lumens. These are way brighter, way brighter. I'm very, very happy with them. I'll link all their stuff down below, guys. So I'm gonna go over here real quick. The only difference is when they start getting more and more power, they almost need a booster pack now, kind of like an HID. Now it's not huge by any fact or anything, and it's metal too, which is actually quite quality piece. You can see the LEDs here. We'll go with this one. The back part of the housing is just a little bit bigger, but again, you don't have to be fragile with it. This is all aluminum again, so you don't have to be fragile with it or anything. Kind of wish it was silver or a different color. I'm not really digging the gold look, but you can't really see it anyways. But just gonna pop this in quick and kick the headlights back on. All right, guys, so I went ahead and got the new headlights in there, so that's all done. We've got Dakota here.
What's up, guys?
We've got Kendall.
Hey, guys.
They're picking up the transmission right now for Dakota's MK3 build. So what is your, let's go ahead, so the fans here and so everyone on YouTube know, what is your end goal for your Mark III, guys? I just want to know what you're looking for.
So what I'm looking for is I'm actually doing the 2JZ swap, and I'm actually going to push for 700 horsepower, probably to the crank, but then we'll see how it goes after maybe 1 year. Probably do E85 like you are planning on doing. But overall, it's just going to be a street and show car, so I don't want to have to do drag radials, so however much power I can push before radials are involved. And then obviously make it the cleanest build possible and a one-off, different from everyone else. And
it's cool to hear. So for me, the only person I know in Chambersburg is John Stats. And now, do you know who he is even?
I have heard of him. A friend of mine that actually, you know, he's working on a Honda, but it's a completely different thing. He actually mentioned John Stats to me because he knew and saw his, was it black Supra?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a like dark blue, it looks black too. That's all we say, it's black myself. But that's cool, man. Like, it's nice to find other car enthusiasts in the area here because there's import stuff. It's muscle cars here. I mean, they're plain simple. Let's know that. Well, you guys are very. shit. God, I'm getting old. I'm gonna be 31. He's 19. How old are you?
26.
Okay, so he's a little bit closer. We're a little bit closer here, but like I'm getting old as fuck. This sucks. But this will hold all the power. If you're 700 crank, like I was making 650 wheel in this.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, 750. At least at the crank or whatever, so I mean, it'll hold it all day long. Really, at the end of the day, horsepower is not what you worry about, it's torque. I was making 550 foot-pounds of torque.
Right. More than enough.
Yeah, it'll take everything you ever have it. The only thing will ever be hard on a transmission is drag racing. Mm-hmm. Like if you're legitimately putting drag slicks on it, taking it to the track, eventually it's gonna break. But if you're driving it on the street, that bitch will last you forever.
That's good.
Yeah, so you're good to go, man. Thank you again for picking it up. And thank you for stopping by, I appreciate it. All right, guys, now that they're gone, it's the next day here. I'm back working on the MR2 again. I wanted to say though first, Dakota, guys, thank you very much for picking up the transmission. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. I've got a ton of use out of it. So that'll be going T56, and now we're back working on the MR2 here again. Looks like this is gonna be around for quite some time, guys, because I've gotten kind of a sentimental attachment to it, and on top of it, I do want a certain amount of money for it, and I'm not hitting that, so I'll just hold on to it. I know it's one of those things, like when I bought that, it wasn't worth a whole lot. Now it's worth an astronomical amount of money. There's less and less of these. It's gonna take a little bit longer, but I feel these are gonna do the same thing, so might as well hold on to it. So if you guys are here for the MR2 content, she's not going anywhere anytime soon unless I get some good money for it. But anyways, I digress. Let's go back to the car here. So we're back to square one with the hesitation issue, guys. I'm still completely 110% unsure what is causing this hesitation issue. We've got a new coolant temp sensor in it. We've got new plugs in it. The timing's good on it. We've got new intake. Oh no, that's clogged. I just don't know what would cause the hesitation issue. Now, let me say this also. When it's dead cold, it's really bad. Like it's just like, you hit the gas and it's all like then it takes off all of a sudden. I don't know why it does this. It makes no sense. Cold start's perfectly fine. Idle's perfectly fine. Never, ever, ever an issue so far. So I'm not sure why that is. Someone had mentioned it could be the idle air control valve, or the IACV, some people call it. I would like to think it's not, and I hope it's not, just because on these cars, it's a real pain to get to. On my Supra, it's quite easy to get to it. Right up top is your idle air control valve here, so pretty easy to access. On an MR2, I don't even think you guys can see it down in there, but it's right down. I don't even think you can see it, but see that little yellow box right there? You can just barely see it under there. It's underneath the intake manifold here. All this has to come off, I think. Or wait, I think I just have to take off this intake plenum here. So what I might do is actually, if I don't do this, I'm never gonna get it fixed. So might as well, let's take this all apart, see if that's the problem, and then go from there. It could be, it could not be, I don't know. You guys are along for the ride on this one. Let's hope it fixes the problem. All right, guys, so what I'm gonna do here first, this is where I love this crossbar, but I hate it because I always have to take this off, but I'm gonna remove this panel first, then I'm going to remove the X-bar, then I'm gonna remove the intercooler pipe that goes back here, and then I'm just gonna start taking off the throttle here, and the IACV is right underneath. I guess this isn't terrible. I thought it was mounted further down. It's not terrible, but it definitely could be done a little bit better. But again, let's give this a shot, guys. Hopefully this works. I want to make sure my throttle is loose enough. Yeah, I've got some play in it, so we're good there. All right, let's go ahead and start ripping into this. I was waiting for that to happen. This has been getting tighter and tighter here. Finally, the bolt on these are cheap clamps. It finally snapped off. I think I've got a couple extra down the basement. I'm not sure if they're this size exactly, but if not, I can just put a worm clamp. But this car makes almost no boost, so I can put a worm clamp on it and it'd be okay. But we gotta get this one off yet, and we'll get the rest of the bolts. All right, guys, so next up what I'm gonna do here is take off my ghetto hose that I wish I wouldn't have done it this way now, but that's beside the point. I've got to take off the actual cable here, and then there's 4 bolts that hold the original part of the throttle in, and then there's another 4 bolts I need to remove to get this center section in where the IAC is, and it also has the TPS sensor here, so probably gonna go ahead and disconnect those, but I should be okay now. I have one connection here and one over there, so I'll disconnect those just so I don't fuck up the wiring. And oh no, there's another thing too. There's bolts down here I need to undo also. I always forget about those. If you guys can see them here, they're right underneath. This overtop manifold requires them for some reason. All right, guys, so I've got most of the part here, but I wanted to show you guys some things. So here's the first part. It's like a 3-part throttle. This is crazy. Here's your initial inlet, which has your original flap in it, right? Then you have another bracket that sits in between, which is this guy here, which is almost like a holder plate for the intake manifold, so it doesn't move around, it doesn't break the lower runners. Apparently the lower runners snap on the Gen 3, Gen 2, Gen 1s. Gen 4 didn't have the issue, and then Gen 5 has this bracket also. And then after that, you have another one, which again, this doesn't have a flap, I'm sorry. Only this one has the actual, because the TPS sensors here, I should know better. But this has your actual throttle blade inside of it. Obviously there's your throttle. TPS is on this side, and then your idle air control valves on the bottom. Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and say this was a lot easier to get off than I thought it was going to be. 110%. Now this part's gonna be a little hard because these clips are old and I don't want to damage any wiring. So I'm gonna take my time here, try to unclip this. There's one at the bottom, and then I've got a couple hoses I need to undo. I'm also gonna look at what hoses I can get rid of, if possible. If there's anything I can eliminate. I wanna try and get rid of as much as possible here. Since this is all part, I'm gonna try and eliminate as much as I can, get rid of any area that I would have a problem or cause me more headache in the future, but I'll document that for you guys here and show you as much as I can. Guys, another thing I'm gonna go ahead and do here is there's these 2 coolant tubes that go to your idle air control valve. On the Supra, you remove it like I was saying there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just remove them and cap them off right there. Now, the best way to do this is from what I've seen, because you don't wanna put a regular cap on these, is to actually cut down one of these hoses, put a bolt in them, and use some type of, for me, I'm gonna use Toyota sealant, whatever, it's that black stuff. I can't think, FIPG. Just reminded myself, just about to thank myself too, because I'm an idiot. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cap those down both right there, and just shorten this up some. Plus I don't have to put it back in the idle air control valve. It's just one less thing I have to deal with. I have to take it back off. I'm just trying to simplify it If I do get under the car, I'll probably remove it down and actually block it off down into the block itself. So I'll remove it there. So I'll unbolt it down there and go further. See if I can get some light. If you guys can see that bolt down there, right where that little filter is. Remove that and get rid of all the hard lines, everything. Try to simplify it like I did the Supra. The less I have to deal with when working on it, dropping something out, the better off I am is how I look at it. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove those and then going to put the idle air control valve back on. After talking to Ty, he said, dude, I doubt it's your problem, but hey, it's worth a shot. But he said, go ahead and hit this with brake cleaner. I went in here and hit all this. I took the gasket out, but I have it sitting on so I don't forget it. Went in through here where all the air comes through, hit that with a ton of brake cleaner to shine it up some inside of there. Hopefully no debris gets in, but I hope this helps or fixes it. If it doesn't, well, on to the next thing. I'm not sure what it is, this is absolutely driving me crazy at this point, guys. I'm not sure what the hell it is, but I'm going nuts over here. All right, guys, so I'm reassembling the idle air control valve now. What I had to do though is just bolt it back down. I made sure I just hand tighten it. I used the impact to get the old ones off because they strip so easily. Just using that takes them off without stripping them. But what I'm doing is making my own little block offs now. So what you do is you take the old coolant hose, cut it down. Now I'll have to cut this down more yet. I just left it long. But you take an old bolt, put it inside there with some FIPG or whatever the strongest sealant you can find, use it. FIPG is the strongest shit I know of. Put it on there, let it sit for 15 minutes or well, as long as 15 minutes, as long as you're not gonna put coolant through it. And then put the other side of the hose on and that's it, you're done. You don't have to do anything else, you're good to go. Don't worry about it, you're good. That's pretty much it. And then, yeah, now I just gotta slip those on and finish the car up. All right guys, so I've got it all back together now. Only thing I have to do now is start it up. Just double checking and triple checking everything. I'm not even putting the strut tower bar on or anything yet until I get it started up and see if it makes any weird noises or does anything, just because less I have to take back off. So I'm gonna start it up here and hope for the best. All right guys, it turned on and idled fine, but the only real test is to drive it, so. All right, cool. So we know the idle IACV is working, so next up is we'll put everything back on and take it for a drive to see how she runs, but I'm thinking this isn't gonna fix the issue. All right guys, so we're gonna turn the car on here again. Idle's fine. Seems to idle all right. All right, let's try taking this thing for a spin here and I'll let you guys know if there's any difference. Let it warm up for a second, but cold's when it's really bad, so I'll know pretty much right away. Well, no shocker there. It fixed fucking nothing. So back to square one again. No idea what could be causing it. I mean, it's bad. Like, I had Sean with me, my buddy with the GSX in the car last night. He's like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, no idea. It surges so bad. Like, so bad. Like, I can't represent it on camera, but like, the car, like back and forth. Like, horrible. As soon as you get above 4,000 RPMs, fucking golden. Floored out, no problem. Partial throttle, no problem. Above 4,000 RPMs. Below that, fucking trash. Complete, utter trash. When the car gets warmer, it gets a little bit better. It's still there, but it's a little bit better. But like right now, it's not as bad because the car's getting warm. It's like, when it's cold and you try to take off, it like, the fucking car is jerking back and forth. It's driving me crazy. This is why I'm getting pissed off at it, wanting to get rid of it. I just want this fucking issue fixed. I thought I had it fixed, and I'm not sure what the fuck it could be, guys. I had more ideas, anything you guys can throw at me. I have no idea what it could be. I'm just completely lost at this point what could be causing the issue. All right, guys, I apologize because I know it's dark in here, but I'm back at Sean's house again here. I'm done with the MR2 for the day, and I actually drove it over here, and it's actually sleeting outside right now. It's not one of the smarter things I've done, but what we're doing is working on his car. We just took off the Indiglo gauges on his car. This was yesterday, I should say. We've got the old pillar pod is out now, and the only thing we have in here is the two gauges down here, which one's for boost and one's for the water temp. The other ones really didn't do anything, and they were very 1999, 2000, so did away with those. There was a lot of wiring mess from a Goretti Profec and an old flip out CD player, which he actually had the factory one, so they popped that back in. I don't think we have to do the code thing yet, right?
Yeah, I have to get the code.
Do you have to call Mitsubishi for that, or?
Yeah, you can call Mitsubishi. You said you can get a stereo code, but I think I have it in my one folder downstairs from when I had this happen before.
So what, is it good for life then once you have the code?
For life once you have the code.
Okay, and it's just, it's like an anti-theft thing, right?
Correct, yep.
Okay, so, and here's what we fixed. So, sorry guys for the annoying, hold on, let me shut the door. There we go. But this before would have been Indiglo gauges here, guys, and you could barely see his gauges at night, and he said it drove him crazy. As soon as we took it off, like I didn't have to do any wiring or cutting. All the lights were there, it's just the Indiglo gauges were screwing it up and covering all the lights. So now it's back to the factory orange, and the knobs, everything works down here. So I can dim them. Everything works like factory. The only thing that doesn't work, I know we're tapped into the relay switch, so when you turn the lights on, these should kick on too, but they're not. Now, these are old school in the fact that they literally just have a light in here somewhere. I think it's on this side, and it just literally shoots light out, like it tries to backlight it. And it doesn't work all that great, but again, these gauges are probably 15 years old. They're just, there's no LEDs back then. There was nothing like that with gauges. So that's what we're working on right now. Look at that, all this lights up still. This is friggin' awesome. Like most of this stuff would be faded out, but you see this yet, dude? Like all this works. Everything is like factory again. Oh, the cigarette light's back into it again.
Yes.
Give me a charger once. Let's see if a charger works in it. Yeah, dude, there's self-tapper screws. There was a fire extinguisher over here, guys. We just had it moved. You could probably go ahead and pop that out because you're going to have to take that out too. Only thing I'm not sure about is how this comes out. I'm not sure what that is. So put a light up here. As you can see the holes there, guys. And unfortunately, the actual cigarette lighter down there did not work. I'm not sure how that comes the fuck out. Like that one can stay. That top one can stay.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe that one allowed it to slide or something.
What you can do is try pulling it down. Just like if you open the door here, no, try pulling this down, like just to get the plastic out. Yeah. Because if that comes out, maybe you can see behind there's something you got to unscrew. That's the only thing I can think of. Sorry guys, I got the camera pointing down and stuff, so I apologize for that. We're just trying. We want to get this car ready. He wants it back to like OEM-esque like look, and he wants to do more performance mods more than anything, but keep like an OEM interior. He does. This will go away again. We will get rid of the factory stereo, but he had an old flip-up stereo that was a CD player, which was no good to him. He needs to get something that can charge his phone and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Hold on. It must be screwed in.
All right, guys, so we got the rest of it out now. The car is finished up. We just took the subwoofers out of it here, got rid of all the wiring that was underneath too. So this car is pretty much back to the way it should have been from the beginning. There's a couple other things we need to tidy up, and that's just a couple things. We're always going to be working on this car. Even though I don't own it, this is kind of going to be part of the channel now, guys. The GSX is going to be part of the whole thing. It might not be a Toyota, but it's pretty freaking cool. Another cool thing is he has the original Mitsubishi factory cover for this with the Mitsubishi logo, and it actually fits this exact GSX model because they were slightly different. And it's actually designed just for the GSX for a 95 to 96. For something about them, it's slightly off. I'm not sure what it is, but they do fit it perfectly. But there's a couple things we still need to attack on this car. I'm trying to think of what else. We've got most of the vacuum lines. When he comes over, we're going to put the new headlights in it. Or I should say new. We're going to swap out these eBay headlights for a set that fit. These are for a 97 to 99 Eclipse, so there's this little gap here. He didn't realize that when he ordered it, where the person who sold it to him said they fit them all, but obviously they don't. So we're going to switch with his brother's car, which has the proper size headlights that are factory. We're going to put factory headlights back in it. We're going to take off the oil cooler down there, and then we're going to do a full 3-inch exhaust. I've contacted STM Performance to see if they'll send us an exhaust for this car. I'm hoping they do. If they don't, then we're going to try and have one made locally. We're trying to keep this to a budget to an extent. We want to use quality parts, but we don't want to spend a boatload of money. He doesn't drive this car much, and he's got kids, and he's got other things to worry about. But yeah, so that's where we're at right now. Alright guys, so back here at the house now, all done with Shawns Car, all done with this for right now. Ty Saxon of TCS said, dude, enough of this. He's going to send me all the sensors for the car. He's going to send me another Gen 3 ECU, and we're going to hunt this issue down. I'm literally going to replace every sensor step by step, turn the car on, try to drive it, until I find out exactly what it is, and I'm going to report back to you guys. Ty's starting to think it might just be the ECU. He said, you know, unfortunately with these cars, the ECUs go bad. The Supras don't have that issue. I guess that's an MR2 thing. There's some resistors or something inside of it. I don't know the exact details, so don't quote me on that. That actually go bad in these things. So what we're going to do is replace all that, replace all the sensors, then go from there. But that will be in the next video, guys. So thank you very much for tuning in. Stay tuned for more with this. T56 swap coming up with that, and then we're going to be working on Shawns Car more. He wants to really start modifying that car. He's got some more free time and some more income here, so we're able to do a few more things than we couldn't have done a while ago. So we're going to be focused on that car some more here. I'm pretty stoked to get that done. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. Do me a big favor, go check out the Facebook, Instagram, and the website down below. Thank you guys very much, and I'll talk to you later. Peace!